Hello everybody, I'm Krasi and this is my week for the 12 Ascendants. This week I will give a bit more detailed overview of what is the celestial situation this week so that you can understand it and you know how to benefit from what is happening on the sky. Maybe you remember that my last weekly prediction for the 12 Ascendants was not very optimistic, but this is because of indeed what is happening on the sky, because of this a bit tense opposition that I will show you in a second when I share my screen with you. Now, of course, remember that everything depends on your personal natal chart. However, my description for you may be very beneficial because you will know what to do and what to avoid and what to expect from the week. And of course, you will understand it from your own perspective and apply it to your own chart, energies, aura, understanding. So I'm sharing my screen with you. So look, today is 16th of June, and I will be talking about the week that starts 7 days from the 17th of June. But let's see already what is happening today. And it is very interesting. It is not so much different from what we already saw last week. And you can imagine how you perceived last week in the events around yourself. Now, we know that the most overwhelming event right now on the sky, of course, are the retrograde Saturn, Pluto, Ketu, which are retrograde in Sagittarius, and of course the opposition exactly against them. You see Mercury, Rahu, and Mars. So we have malefic planets making opposition to each other, and this is quite tense. The opposition is something that looks like conflict. It is not always necessarily a conflict, but it's something. It's a place where the energies can be tense, can be something that we need to work out in the most wisest way, really through understanding and spirituality and really understanding what is happening on the sky. So here we have the three planets, Saturn, Pluto, and Ketu, and they're all retrograde, and they're in the sign of Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter, which is about moral values, belief systems, philosophy, all the beauty that can happen on earth, which comes from the sky, from the divine sky, and from God. It's happening here. It is like we're being temporarily limited in order to reevaluate our belief system, our moral system, our knowledge, our perceptions of the world, of the spirit world, if you want. And that is why all this is happening in Sagittarius. But also the ruler, Jupiter, is also in a very interesting place. And he is, as you see, Jupiter is in Scorpio. And when Jupiter is in Scorpio, I have a whole video about this, describing what are the energies of Jupiter when in Scorpio. But when Jupiter is in Scorpio, also his energies are very different from his nature. They're atypical, because there he's kind of lacking his joy. He's becoming very philosophical, again reevaluating, because he's in Scorpio, at the sign of where the depth is. Like we have the deepest of the depths, are like abyss, which is happening in Scorpio. And there Jupiter is very much about this depth of our philosophical understanding of the world, value system, religious, if you want. But then right now, this week, because we're talking not so in particular about this week, Jupiter is in a very interesting phase, which is not very constructive either, but a bit even destructive. And this is the phase called cosmic setting, when he is disappearing on the western horizon while the sun is appearing on the eastern horizon. And this is very symbolic, if you want, phase of Jupiter, where he is like, he leaves us a little bit to these planets, to these malefic planets. And he's saying, right now, I'm not going to support you so much because you really need to do a lot of work, detailed work. You need to be very disciplined to reevaluate everything that you've been doing in your life, if you want. So Jupiter is very deep to rethink, re-question, and here we have these malefic planets which form opposition. This opposition on the sky is already active since last week. Therefore, I couldn't be so very optimistic of what was happening on the sky last week. But the very same will be actually now, and especially when you know that we had the full moon emphasizing on Jupiter, because the full moon took place in, 1 second, I want to show you, in Scorpio. And again, the axis of Jupiter was very active. It's like we really need to look at our love towards those, the unconditional love that is very different from the human love. We need to question our moral values, very important in philosophical belief system. And all this was emphasized on when the full moon took place in the axis of Scorpio, Taurus. Of course, Jupiter is now in this here specific heliac of us that I told you about. But we have, again, still the opposition of the malefic planets which are against each other. And what is this meaning? Of course, such opposition is tense. Of course, when Mercury is involved, he's very, very important for many reasons. First is that he is in sign which he rules. He is in Gemini, and therefore there he has a lot of dignities. Highly dignified he is, but also because he is in a heliac of us, which would say that approximately 6 days ago, today is 16th, so on the 10th, he disappeared from our vision. From our perspective, we cannot see Mercury because he became invisible. He is hidden in the rays of the sun, and this happened 6 days ago. Therefore, he is still ruling us. He's still ruling this chart, and he will be ruling the week. So Mercury is very important. And what is Mercury? Money, information, media, communication, travel, astrology, astronomy, brothers, little brothers, so many things is Mercury. And he's afflicted. He's afflicted by Mars, and together Mars and Rahu, and Mars invisible, can be very unpredictable, especially when Saturn and Ketu are making opposition to Mercury. What would this be meaning? This would say that the communication will be all over the world. Devices and communication on basic routine level can suffer tremendously. But not only this, mistakes in calculation, mistake in information, mistakes in the routine, like you would go to an institution and you would ask for a particular service that they perform for you, and this can go wrong, simply go wrong. Your own communication can be misunderstood. Your own sharing knowledge can be misunderstood. So Mercury is emphasized on, and money, the money float, the markets will suffer. The markets can go wrong. They can be very volatile. They will be very unpredictable, even though Venus now is so powerful in her own sign in Taurus. So this is the very important opposition. On the other hand, Mars, Mercury, Ketu, Rahu, Saturn, Pluto, also complex, and they are against each other, of course, is resulting in those unseen before sudden meteorological changes that happen all over the world, and also in different hostile actions, conflicts, speech conflicts. This is certainly not the week for negotiations, not the week for starting anything new. So you may plan, but really to start new projects, new negotiations, applying, if you would apply for job, for projects, for some interesting initiatives, be cautious. Do the Saturnian way. Check, double check, triple check every single thing that you want to do. So the week is indeed tense, and we will see now this is my overview only, we will see when we look at the ascendants, how this will influence the ascendants, one by one, the 12 ascendants. But once again, this is an overview and everyone's chart is unique. So let's start with Aries. All right, let's start with Aries. Now, for you, this week you may feel a bit too impulsive. You may feel, in some cases, a bit misunderstood. You may, in general, you may feel this may not be the most harmonious week for you. And this is because, for the reasons that I just explained in my overview, but also because your ascendant ruler is invisible and conjoined with Mercury. This week for you may be challenging also when it comes to communication with siblings, with neighbors, with the people that are sharing your routine life. Also this week, it may not be very, very appropriate to travel and absolutely not appropriate to negotiate. I would say benefit from actually what is happening on the sky in a very spiritual way, like receiving knowledge that you wanted to, and concentrate in knowledge, in maybe studies, in spiritual work, and do less of involving in conflict situations, travel, negotiations. Avoid really negotiations and travel during this particular week. Also, this may not be the most appropriate week to do media work and share your knowledge. I would say really the low profile is the most appropriate thing. If you see that there is some tension around your relationship with siblings or neighbors or people that are sharing your routine everyday life, I would say stay away from this. Just have a little bit of patience. In terms of money, the week doesn't look bad for you. Even during this week, you may have these good chances to improve some relationship with family members. But still, when it comes to negotiations and deep, risky communication that may result in conflict, stay away, be careful. If you would still like to travel, ask your intuition, is this really the most appropriate moment for me to travel? This would say, I would stay away from this, from travel, touristic activities, all this. Better to really do some knowledge-based work, do your routine business, concentrate in making profit and money. The week will not be so bad when it comes to finances. So let's see Taurus. For you, the week can be very interesting and very blessing. You may desire to do artistic work, or to visit museum, or to do some to do everything that can be related to beauty, like create artistic work, see a concert, visit exhibition, or do some own paintings, poetry, everything that you may like to see beauty, to enjoy beauty. You may have this joyful experience also that is coming from Venus on your ascendant. On the other hand, some additional expenditures are also very possible. Also, your relationship, your private life during this week can be also a bit interesting. It's like you may have situations that you didn't expect, like you may need to communicate with your beloved ones, with your partner in life, also with your partners in business, for example. And you may have situations there that you didn't expect. So it's good that you are very diplomatic, that you're very intuitive when communicating. In any case, your love life will be okay. When it comes to negotiations, travel, communication. Also to you, I would say be very careful, avoid. I would, during this week, the coming week, people who have Taurus ascendant, also moon in Taurus, I would say travel, but very carefully if you need to, and use your intuition and ask your intuition, is this the right moment to travel? To negotiate, I would say better not. Things may become big and come out of control. Also, be cautious when in anything that would be about sharing knowledge, sharing your point of view. This may result, one, in conflict, second, in financial losses. It is very, very possible. The week will not be bad financially for you, but I would really stick to the routine way of making money and not go for new ideas, new plans, new projects, as the business all over the world and the markets are really down. In terms of health, the week looks fine for me, but as I told you, be cautious when traveling, when communicating, when negotiating. Also be patient with family members, family tree. With these people, you need to be patient, diplomatic, and very intuitive. And let's see now, Gemini. Now for you, the week will be very interesting, and specifically, you need to be responsible for your health, and you need to be very patient at home with your beloved ones, with your partners at work, even with friends. This week may be a little bit tense. When you will be sharing your knowledge or sharing idea or sharing information, also be careful. Be very well prepared with every business activity that you will be doing. It's like if your usual preparation when you will be making presentation or sharing your view will take like 2 hours, do it for 4 this time. You really need to be very well prepared and very disciplined in preparation, in your preparatory work, when you'll be presenting your view, when you'll be sharing your ideas, sharing your knowledge. In general, the week wouldn't be at all good for negotiations, business-wise. Also, the week the business all over the world is suffering, and you experience this on your ascendant. Now, when it comes to your subordinates, there you will have support. So this is the good thing. Spiritually, the week will be very interesting. Of course, your desire to explore spiritual secrets and esoterics, it will be emphasized on also this week. But health-wise, negotiations-wise, traveling, all this you need to be very, very cautious, as the main axis on your chart is afflicted, and this also can influence your career, your work. There also you need to be very, very careful and very intuitive when you communicate with your superiors. Also at home, be patient and loving. The spirit will pass, but right now this week will be a bit tense. Cancer, ascendant or even moon Cancer can have quite similar influences. Now with you, in terms of finances, the week is not bad, but at work your routine may be suffering a little bit. There you may see that you do not have enough support, that somehow people that you wouldn't expect are turning into enemies, or they do unexpected, surprising, disappointing things. Also, when it comes to communication, be very careful. I would say even if you're lacking support from your subordinates at work, I would say still be very careful when you will be initiating conversations and negotiations with them. You may remain misunderstood and your efforts may go in vain. Therefore, use your really higher diplomacy talents and be very disciplined and very prepared, and like have eyes also on your back when you will be at work. Your routine life may suffer a little bit this week. But in terms of finances, the week is not bad. On the other hand, you may have good friends and you may expect additional expenditures this week. Your partnership, also a little bit, be diplomatic and be loving at home. But to travel and to travel, you may carefully, but to negotiate, I would say, be very diplomatic, very prepared, very analytical, and very intuitive what you are. Spiritual wise, the week is very, very interesting because the full moon happened on a very powerful, interesting axis for you. And this can bring new knowledge, new spiritual awareness, new insights into knowledge that you liked, but you kind of didn't receive by now. So the week from this perspective can be very, very fruitful and nice. But on the other hand, your routine life is where the weaknesses are. Also be responsible for your health. So this was about Cancer. Let's see Leo. For you, financial wise, career wise, the week is interesting. Looks okay. Career wise, you may have the support of your superiors. You may feel kind of that you are comfortable at work, comfortable and supported. However, additional costs are possible this week. When it comes to communication, to media work, to your social circle, that is where you may struggle a little bit. There you may be cautious and do not trust so easily. You may need to be responsible for your kids and a bit extra controlling in good sense, in sense of giving attention in what they're doing, because what is happening is that this axis, which is responsible for children, is afflicted, and there you need to pay attention. It's like if they are playing in the yard, always have an eye, look at them and watch them more carefully than you would do otherwise in any other situation. So this is a bit point of attention. Your children, your social circle, people which are called your friends, there your routine may struggle a little bit. From knowledge, spiritual point of view, you may reach a point when you need new knowledge, when you like to know more, when you want to reevaluate, when you feel that you're lacking some knowledge, that you're lacking something, that you want to find out more from the universe. And this is maybe what you should pray for knowledge that you're lacking. This is the timing that you may also receive it, because very interestingly, these retrograde planets all are towards this, reevaluating our knowledge, bringing new knowledge, reanalyzing our knowledge. And yes, when we go deep into certain area of our life, we certainly learn more, and also we receive more from the universe. So this is one thing. So your career, it's okay financially. Not perfect, as nothing is perfect right now, but financially I don't think that your week will suffer so much. So pay attention to your children, a bit with your health as well. And when traveling, also be a bit responsible, plan everything double, 2 times, 3 times more than usual, because the week is such. And the week is not very appropriate for new beginnings. Actually, for no one I would recommend this week new beginnings, especially with this tense opposition which is happening between the malefic planets on the sky. And let's see Virgo now. For you, the most interesting and active part is happening at your career, at your work. So there you may a little bit have tension or have a bit of disharmony, like what is happening on the axis of your career and even your home, like the things which are create tension at work may result in tension at home. Therefore, be a bit you know, patient. Have the knowledge that this is a temporary period, it will pass. Of course, everyone's chart is unique, but still you have afflicted the axis of the 10th and the 4th house, and there is where biggest events may take place in your life, like with your plans. Things may not go exactly as you plan and as you want. On the other hand, you're very, very well supported by the placement of Venus from your 9th house, like the knowledge will be the way out, the searching for knowledge, new courses, new to follow new education. This will certainly look like a way out when you're experiencing tension at work with your superiors. When it comes, there are possible tension and conflicts, and when this is happening at your work, I would say be very diplomatic, very careful when you will be communicating at work with whoever it is. Like there are the surprises where you can expect, like this can be even turning point for you. Therefore, yes, whatever is happening at work, be diplomatic, prepared, very analytical, like look at every single detail and reanalyze, double, triple check it, and don't trust people, just double, triple check everything yourself, and of course, use your intuition. On the other hand, even though the tension goes on this axis of your career, I would say the week may not be very, very appropriate for negotiations. Just be very diplomatic. And indeed, to negotiate, even though you may feel that this is needed, this may not be the most appropriate moment. In terms of travel, you may, but your solution, your way out, your comfort will be through education. Media also, but I would avoid this week. Media would say receiving information, education, courses, classes, all this may make you very happy. Yes, but when it comes to travel, use your intuition, be careful. Yes, also in terms of health, be a bit responsible, more than usual also. Libra. Now for you, this week can be very esoteric, very interesting, may increase your desire to investigate esoteric, occultistic secrets, hidden knowledge. You may experience additional costs, but also you may experience unexpected incomes as well that may come from through your partner, from, for example. This week for you may not be the most appropriate really to travel. I would avoid to travel, and I would also avoid to negotiate. Like this week, be careful when negotiate, as your words may be misunderstood or taken advantage of from. Therefore, this week, if you really need to travel, double, triple check the date, the details around your traveling, as exactly this axis is afflicted for you, so I would be careful. You may feel also disharmony with your relationship with siblings, brothers, sisters, neighbors, routine, people which surround your routine life. This is very possible. So with them, be diplomatic, try to be loving, try to be forgiving, as there you may have some challenges. In terms of finances, as I told you, you will be fine. Additional costs are possible, but also unexpected additional incomes. Now, in terms of career and work, the week looks okay, but be quite careful and I would avoid negotiation, and when you need to apply diplomacy and discuss something with superiors, I still would be very intuitive and avoid as many negotiations as possible. Scorpio, with you, The week is very interesting, and when it comes to your relationship, the week will be maybe emotional, even very interesting. I would say even nice. Maybe a bit go too emotional, or a bit your emotions in your relationship you may feel a bit too much, too exaggerated. This is also possible. Financially, the week looks okay to me, but still involving efforts, additional efforts. But anyhow, the emphasis of this week was on, and it will be valid also for the next week, I think, was on your relationship, on yourself, how you deal with your partnerships in general, how you deal with your friends, and also with your romantic relationships. So there is the emphasis. And this is where also you may need to put attention to, like how to solve or to fix unsaid issues when it comes to your personal life. So this may be the time using diplomacy and patience. When it comes to money, as I told you, you have the support from heaven, but still you may need to do some additional efforts, and some unexpected issues related to incomes and expenditures may also be possible this week. When it comes to family roots, to family members, you may need to be patient. There you may have some tension come in unexpectedly. So with family members, with family tree, like really your family, there you may need to be very patient and use your intuition when you need to solve this. To travel, be cautious. Double check, triple check, use your intuition when you will be traveling. Negotiate. As I said, the week may not be the most beneficial for negotiations and for work abroad. I see more your week for having your incomes through your routine work. Yes, in terms of health, be responsible for your health and give special attention and emphasize on your romantic relationship, on your private life this week. And now let's see Sagittarius. Actually, it's very preoccupied, tense on your ascendant descendant axis. Therefore, I would say, like, keep low profile this week. Don't do much. Take good care of yourself, of your routine work. Also be very patient with your partners. Also at work, be very, very diplomatic with all your partnerships. Also with your romantic partner, I would say you need to be very, very, very diplomatic. You may have the support of subordinates, for example. So your routine life, like your routine work, routine job, may have the support from subordinates, and this is what you may not expect, for example. But also there are some additional, like, emotions involved are possible. Costs generated in your routine work are also possible. Losses as well in terms of money and finances. The week is not great for business, not good for negotiations. And when it comes to health, it's good that you're very responsible for your health. If you would desire to travel, I would avoid, but if you really need to, double, triple check every single detail around your travel and ask your intuition, is it actually the most appropriate time to do, and choose really good moment when double checking, triple checking everything around your travel. And the most important, what is emphasized on this week for you, is really your routine life. There you need to be careful, patient, but still you may have support from your subordinates in your private life with your romantic partner, with your other partners as well. There you need to be patient, diplomatic, and very intuitive. Let's see Capricorn. Now for you, still this desire for self-isolation, concentrating into secret esoteric studies exists. The week will be like, yes, will be very esoteric, very emotional, a little bit melancholic for you, most probably. I see more your challenges come in your routine life, where you may need to be careful with subordinates, with hidden enemies. It's like really be very intuitive when it comes to people which surround you. The good thing is that you may have support of your beloved ones and of friends. So this is what looks good to me. But still be aware of hidden enemies and people at work that may turn into enemies, and be very responsible for your health. Go more out in the nature to receive light, because Saturn is ruling you. Saturn is placed in such a way that you may really need to expose yourself to light, to receive more foods which are of natural origin, like fruits and vegetables. They will bring light into your body, and this is very important. And count on your family and on your romantic partners, because this is where the week will be good for. And also you may find exit from melancholic state through education, classes, knowledge that you desire to obtain, and now will be the moment. Travel cautiously. New beginnings, I would not advise this week. And now let's see Aquarius. Now for you, you have the support at work. Your career is supported. There you may have some expanded emotions. You may have a lot going on there, but still you may have support from superiors. You may have plans which very actively kind of resolve or going on. You may have additional costs generated, but you also may have incomes, but still you may have additional costs, unexpected costs generated this week. In terms of friends and romantic partners, there you may a little bit have your challenges, like be cautious with friends. Don't trust them entirely, and be patient with your romantic partners. This is very important. The week is not the most appropriate for negotiations also for you. It is also not very appropriate for new beginnings. I would really be cautious when it comes to new beginnings. When it comes to travel, I would travel only if triple checking everything. Negotiations, be careful, especially in your social circle, because your words may be misunderstood or taken wrongly. So be very careful when you communicate. Also, when you're sharing your knowledge, mistakes are possible. In terms of knowledge, the week is very interesting, as you may desire to acquire knowledge that you didn't have, and this may bring good results. If you now concentrate on knowledge, on reevaluating your knowledge, your spiritual belief system, so this can be the moment, and looks very well to me. Give special attention to your children and really watch them tightly and closely during this week, as this is very important, having in mind which axis of your chart is afflicted. So when it comes to children, they need to be very closely looked at, so that you are on the safe side. In terms of health, the week looks okay to me, but still be responsible for your health. And let's look at Pisces. For you, you may have some tension at work, career-wise. There you may experience challenges and tension. There you may need to be very diplomatic. Still, if you feel that this is the right moment to negotiate, I would say do not. This may result in unexpected outcomes. I would say avoid taking part in any negotiations or risky conflicting situations, and be very intuitive and very diplomatic, and double and triple check every single detail around your career, work, and plans. You may have a way out through education, self-education, knowledge, reevaluating your knowledge, your belief system, and what you learned until now. You may decide and desire to look into it again with another eyes, with another perspective, very intuitive and very spiritual. Also, be patient at home, as there you may also experience some challenges. Patient with your parents. When it comes to travel, you may, but do everything very cautiously, double, triple checking every single detail. But when it comes to negotiations, be careful. It's like very, very intuitive, and avoid, postpone if you can. In terms of health, also be responsible for your health. And as I said, with your parents, be loving and be patient at home as well. With partnerships as well. Be patient, be very diplomatic. So this is very important. When it comes to knowledge, there is, as I said, the way out for you to feel a comfort and to find your solutions to the challenges that you may have happening with your plans and with your career. So through knowledge, you may find really joy and all the answers that you are searching for. This is also very important. When it comes to finances, the week is not perfect for your finances, and there you may need to be very precise, very time-oriented, very analytical, and to put additional efforts when it comes to finances. Also, be very intuitive. So, thank you. With this, I'm completing my analysis of the week. Thank you for your attention, and your comments are very welcome.